Okay, everyone, got some help again. It seems like every time I build a bench, Sonny wants to come out here and investigate. So he's going to be my helper today. I'll walk you around. This is the area that was full, and it was full all the way to the door, and it was full of all of that stuff. So I've moved it all out. I'm laying out now what's going to be my top, which will go all the way out there to the corner of that square, all the way back in, probably to right there at the edge of that door frame, all the way over here, and then back to this tabletop. But it's going to be lower. It's going to be desk high, not work table high. So it'll sit down in here. I'll have on this corner my airbrush station. Down here will be a lowered station where I'll be doing my small parts and small pieces assembly. And then where I've got this bookcase right here, I'll have another one on the back of that top with a lot of shelves, as many as I can get. I've got to get trains out that I want to display, and that's where they're going to go. I'll then build a test stand so that hey, I may not be running trains on a layout, but I'll be running them on a test stand. So this is going to be the area, and it's going to be a good area. It's that whole area right there, literally from just a few inches inside the door all the way over to my other workshop piece right there. So how about it, Sonny? Is that plan good for you? Hey, buddy. He's too busy exploring. He gets out here all the time and gets excited. He was up in the attic this morning because the stairs were down, so he climbed the stairs and roamed around up there for a while. So here we are. What do you see? He likes to get in places he's not supposed to. Anyway, that's it. I'll move on. Step 2, after getting everything cleaned out of the area where I want to build on, I masked off the area that will represent the top of the new addition to the table. It won't go as high as the old one because it's going to be desk level. The arm that sticks out on the left side, that's where the airbrush center is going to be, and it's going to actually go all the way down that table, pretty much most of the way, because it's going to be a fairly good size airbrush area. Across the back, where here I've got the bookcases. Actually, the bookcases there start at the top of that high part. When I get the new desk high level in, I'm going to have even taller bookcases. They're going to go just as high, but they're going to start a little bit lower. So that's going to serve me well for my train displays. Okay, I moved over to the other side. This is my current work table, kind of a mess right now because I've had to pile stuff up here. The other bookcase, like I said, it's going to fill that area right there, but it's going to go down lower, so I'll have room for extra display trains. And again, it's going to be an irregular top, but because it's low, I'll have some room underneath this counter, coming down to about that height, so I can put some things over there that don't have to be out all the time, so I won't really be losing any space. And then, like I said, over here I'm going to have a fairly good size spray booth for the airbrush, and it should work well with if with the plans that I've got. So next, I've got to get my brother's pickup truck and go get some material. Now the first thing I'm going to do is fabricate the top. That top, like the other tops in here, I'm going to use that white melamine coated high density fiberboard, and it's really hard as a rock and perfectly level. I will then surround it with an oak strip to give it some strength around the edges so I can clamp on it without worrying about anything. And once it's built and literally can fit inside that blue tape, then I'll build the base for it. So the next step is to figure out how I want to build the base. Now part of it will just be open, so I can put some stuff underneath it that needs to go under it for storage. Underneath the spray booth, I'm going to have a small shelf that is going to hold my compressor. On top of it, I'm going to have an edge up above it so that things can't slide off, and I'll store various odds and ends, paints, etc. on top of the spray booth. So that's going to be that's going to work well. I mean, it's literally everything's going to come together over here, and then I'll have my chair where I can pull in right next to it. It doesn't look like much room, but truthfully it's almost 4 feet. So that should be very comfortable. So that's it for right now. Next thing, get the materials and start cutting the top. Okay, I've moved forward a little bit on my work table build. I haven't got as much done as I'd hoped to because we finally have had a break in our drought, and it's been raining nearly every day, and I can't cut in the garage. I've got to cut all my wood outside, so haven't been able to get outside. But anyway, I thought I'd at least continue just verifying my dimensions. I have done a number of drawings with dimensions, each time improving and adding in some details so that I don't cut things too short or too long. The blue lines that I put down before, that's the dimensions of the top of the table. I've gone back and I put these red lines in. That's going to be the face boards on the base of the table. That way I can go ahead and just lay them out directly from the red tape so I get the dimensions right. The internal blue angles you see, those are going to be the first legs that I do in order to get the face up in the air and to make sure everything's exactly the way I want it. And I will probably add another 2 legs just to make sure it's good and strong. Over underneath this corner of my upper work table is where I will put one of my first shelves, one down toward the floor. That's where this computer is going to sit. The top of the work table, as you can see, is going to go all the way up under there, but it'll be right above the computer, and there'll be enough room I can put some things underneath that, and maybe even a little set of drawers, something of that nature. So that will give me some storage space. Now let me swing back around. Again, this area that juts out by the door, there's going to be a large airbrush spray booth sitting there. And remember, it's not the red area, it's the blue area. The back side of that is going to have, swing up here, 2 of these little airbrush booths. Now the plastic hoods that you see coming out in front of them, at least the new one, those are going to be sacrificed. I'm going to cut those off because all I want is the fan unit and the filter unit. That's going to fit in the back of my airbrush booth, and they'll sit side by side and be attached closely together. They'll also be, I've got like 2 filters inside of there, I think, or three level filter. But I'm going to take a simple air conditioning filter which doesn't have much volume, and I'm going to put that in front of those on the inside of the airbrush booth to catch the really big stuff. Then on the back, as I said before, up at the top of that table, which is 30 inches off the floor, I'm going to start my display case, and that'll go all the way up as high as these bookcases. But instead of having to, just 3 shelves, and I think I use 10-inch deep shelves, I'm going to put 12-inch deep shelves, and probably twice as many. I'm going to have to pull out my trains, lay them out, measure their heights, and then determine how many shelves I can put in there and how many trains I can put on them, because I want to put my locomotives, tenders, and some of my rolling stock behind them in the deeper shelves. So that's pretty well where I'm up to right now. Now I do, as I showed before, well, actually I showed it, but I didn't get the volume on it, so I'm going to show you again. I've got all my lumber for the legs and for the face boards. Over here I've got some more lumber. That's going to be for the lower supports for the lower shelf. And I've got 2 sheets of this melamine coated hardboard. Now this stuff is hard as a rock, and it's level. I use it because you can lay a straight edge on it, and it's just as flat as it can be, and I'm probably going to need that. And some of that'll be used down below for shelves. Some of it's going to be used up above to build the spray booth, so it's going to be a substantial spray booth. And of course the bulk of it's going to be used for a top that goes all the way over up underneath that overhang on that upper shelf. So I'm feeling pretty good that I've got all the dimensions exactly where I want them. I get full use of my space, and I'm going to work this in 3 projects. Let's come back around. Project 1 is the table. That's the base and the table surface. Project 2 is going to go there. It's going to be the airbrush booth, and underneath it on the shelves I'm going to have my compressor for my airbrush. All of this is going to be cleared out, and that'll become available workspace for some other projects. So it's really going to be a much more efficient use of my space. This computer, like I said, is going to go under there, so it comes off this table. The only thing that'll remain up here will be the screen on this side. I have my other computer over here, but it's in a docking station. I pop it off and take it in the house a lot. So not sure how that's going to work yet, but I use both computers quite a bit for different things. I've currently put my model of the New Jersey back in the box. I was concerned stirring around out here that I was going to lose some small pieces, so I decided to clean off this workspace. I'm using it to do my drawings for the work table, do my measuring, all that kind of stuff. But as far as the New Jersey goes, I have continued to update my book. I've got a complete book of pictures of different parts of the ship, and I've got a history of the ship, and I've got directions for the model. I've moved my directions into this book. Also, I have purchased from Veteran Models, I have purchased some much more detailed Seahawk helicopters. They're resin, and they make the ones that came in the model look silly. Plus I've got 8 Tomahawk cruise missile launchers. Again, makes what's in the kit look pretty silly. And as soon as they become available, I'm going to get the resin phalanx Gatling guns. I'll need several of those. And I've also ordered some additional EB etch brass that will bring more detail to the ship. So I've been doing some work, but nothing significant. Most of it is around getting this table built, and if I can just get my wood cut for the base, get the base up, then I'll be able to move on and get the shelving in underneath. I want to get the entire base with all its lower level shelving done before I put the top on, and then when I get the top up there, I can measure it, make sure I have enough overhang so that I can do clamping. Right now this layout looks perfect, but I will measure directly off the base once I get the base built for the top. And it'll be a double thick top, just like the top on this, and I will put on a hardwood edging to keep from damaging the edging of the top. So that's where I am right now. I thought I'd go ahead and post this and let everybody know what's going on. See you next time.